Okay, so I'm starting out with a bare face, and we're going to go ahead and move to my primer. The primer I've been using lately is the Clinique Moisture Surge. I really love it. I put on the Clinique Super Balanced makeup, so I guess I didn't start with a bare face. I'm supposed to put that on first. And I went to the Clinique Almost Powder Makeup. This is a powder foundation, but it's very sheer, so it's really not a full coverage powder foundation, and I like it for setting the Super Balanced foundation. I'm next moving on to my brows. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade, and I use a stiff angled brush, and I apply it on the back of my hand first to kind of warm it up and smooth it out all over the brush, and then I just create a line across the bottom of my brow to kind of define the arch, and you can see it better on this side. And then I sort of blend upward with the product, and I feel like it's really easy to keep it nice and natural. You see a lot of photos on Instagram of people using this product, and it's really harsh, and you don't really have to do that at all. It's a great product because it sets so evenly, but you don't have to make it look harsh at all. And then I moved on to my Taupe Anastasia Brow Powder. And the thing I really love about this stuff is that it's great for setting, for kind of filling in the little spots that the pomade might not have filled out. So I'm going for a more solid brow today. Next, I'm moving on to the Philosphy Miracle Worker Concealer in medium. And I'm using the light shade as a highlight in my brow and then as a primer to my lid. And then I'm moving on to my Toofaced Shadow Insurance and my Balm palette in the Balm Voyage palette that you've seen me use before. I'm sorry that the lighting's a bit green. It's really hard for me to control my lighting. That's why I don't do many makeup tutorials. But I'm applying that primer below and above my eye. And then I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Barely Branded as a base for the colors that I'm going to apply. But I apply that base with my finger, and then I blend around the edges with a kind of flat shader brush. This one's by Sigma. And then I'm going on to a pink matte shadow. This is from my Toofaced matte palette, but you can use any pink matte shadow, and I'm applying that to the lid and over the concealer that I placed at my brow bone. So this will again be another base color. And applying that under the brow as well, so that you've got kind of a matte pink base all over the whole lid, except for kind of blended down into the crease. Now I'm finally getting to that A1 shadow. This is the shadow on the left side of the palette. It's kind of a taupe color, and I'm applying that using a fluffier brush. This is by Real Techniques. I'm applying that to the crease, just to the outer edge of the crease, and working inward and kind of blending in circular motions so that you have sort of a not so defined crease. And it's a kind of a cool tone taupe, and it's shimmery. I like it. It's pretty and it's very easy to maintain. Alright, then I'm going in with a more of a broad basic eyeshadow brush. I don't know who made this one. And I'm using the silver color, which I think is the A2, and I'm applying that all over the lid. I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm blending with my Real Techniques blending brush. And then I'm going to take the purple shade, actually that's the A2, the silver was the A3, and I'm going to apply that as a liner using a stiff angled brush. I'm going to concentrate the liner on the outer half of the bottom lash line, of the lower lash line. And then I'm moving on to the upper lash line, and I'm going to kind of just bring it out along the outer corner of the upper lash line as well, and kind of just blend it into the lash line itself. Then I'll take my basic shadow brush again, and I'll start blending the purple up onto the outer portion of the lid as well. So you've got a little more color concentrated at the lash line, and then it kind of blends upward into the outer lid. And this just kind of gives you a soft, kind of subtle blend into that silver color. I love the way these two colors look together. They blend together really pretty. By the way, I have a lip balm on my lips. I haven't applied my lip color yet, but that's just kind of to prime my lips. Then I'm moving on to the A4, which is a dark charcoal gray, and I'm taking my flat brush that I used to apply the purple shadow to the upper lash line, and I'm applying it to the upper lash line, but in a far more of a defined wedge shape, so that the outer half is going to be quite a bit lifted, and then it'll kind of blend downward towards the inner. lash line, so you can kind of see I'm making a pretty defined shape. But this is a shimmery color, so it's really easy to blend. So I start out with a really defined like wing shape, and then I'm going to go in with a blender brush, and I'm actually going to blend it so that it's not nearly as harsh, but there's still quite a defined line there. So this is just sort of a base for the winged liner that we're going to do later. Now I'm taking that blending brush and blending over where I've applied that defined charcoal gray. And just kind of blend it and then reapply as you see necessary. Right now I'm reapplying just a tiny bit on the outer edge of that wing to kind of redefine it, bring some definition back to it, but I still want it to be somewhat light, so I'm just using a light touch. And I'm using a makeup wipe to remove any fallout. Next, I'm taking my Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper, and I am applying a wing to the upper lash line. I'm keeping it somewhat a subtle wing. I want the eyeshadow to kind of be more the star of the show, and so I'm making this more of a subtle wing. But there should be just kind of a wing to mimic that shadow you've already applied. Just pull it all the way in like you normally do. Now I'm reapplying a little bit of that silver color just to kind of bring some more of that back, and a little bit more contrast to that inner lid, especially right there at the inner corner. And I'm using my Clinique Lash Doubling Mascara. And that's all I'm doing today, but you can totally apply false lashes if you're going to do this for evening. I love this mascara. I feel like my eyelashes are healthier. And then I'm using my Urban Decay 24/7 liner to tightline and fill in any gaps that your winged liner and the eyeshadow didn't get. It's very, very important to do this step, otherwise you'll have a lot of your bare skin showing in between your eyelashes. Now I'm using the correcting shade of my Miracle Worker Concealer Duo, and I'm applying that to the inner portion. I didn't apply concealer yet because I knew there would be fallout, so I went ahead and I'm applying my concealer now. And then I sort of blend my concealer with a fluffy brush afterwards just to make sure it has more of an airbrush look. The blending brush that I'm using is by Pirouette. It's a synthetic brush, and I love the way it blends concealer. Sometimes I just apply my concealer with this. You can probably hear my daughter talking in the background. She can only be quiet so long. Now I'm moving on to the pretty pink color in the Balm Voyage palette. I don't know what this is called, and I probably could go upstairs and look, but I'm lazy. Anyway, it's the pink color, and I'm just applying it with my finger. I wanted more of a stain today. I didn't really want to do a defined lip, so I'm applying it as a stain, blotting my lips together, reapplying and blending as necessary. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of this very nice pinky taupe blush from L'Oreal. I don't know what it's called. It's one of the True Match blushes, but basically it's just a nondescript pinky nude color. And then just a little pink gloss to the bottom lip. Any pink gloss will do. And that's it. Have a good day. Bye. Tell me, darling, would it matter at all if I told you goodbye?